Now the next slab inside, if we just go up to the factory floor and turn the factory floor on, this slab here, it'll be a fairly easy job for you to, I probably would turn all your, let's do it here, I would probably turn all your set out lines off. Now remember, I've moved my set out lines down, so I'm going to have to move those set out lines back up by the appropriate amount so they're up to the factory floor. So I'll just do that at the moment. Okay, so I've just moved my my set out lines back up to the factory floor level. Now you could actually then use those to just draw, using your rectangle tool, draw a rectangle from the origin through to grid X5 on the grid lines, and then from your sketches, your freehand sketches that you've done, you'll know how much to push-pull the edges out by. So there's a different dimension at the back of the building than there was for the two sides. I think we then also took this suspended slab, and then what you'll do is you'll then push-pull that down, or up if you're working on the bottom of the slab. In class we actually found it was easier to work on the bottom of the slab. So if you actually move your set out lines up to the factory floor level, then grab them and move them down 250 and use them as a guide to construct your slab, then you can push-pull those that slab surface up by 250. We just found that worked a bit easier when we actually did it in class. So then you can create another floor slab at the front of the building, and we did it much the same way. We drew from grid line to grid line. Once again, we had all of these. I'll just show you. We actually had all of these selected and moved. Initially move them down 250. Okay, and we drew on top of those grid lines down 250 to create this slab here, and knowing then how much further we had to pull them out past there. But now this slab in the front here is a 150mm thick slab, not a 250mm thick slab. So when you've finished working with that one, you can then select your grid lines and move them up 100. So that'll change them from being 250 below the factory floor to being 100 below the factory, 150 below the factory floor. You can then draw this slab across these grid lines, and before you push-pull it up, then you'll have to trace around the walls to create these extra surfaces. Or maybe you can push-pull it up first by the 150, that'll get you a flat level slab to here, and then you just have to trace around the external face of the walls to get around the curtain grid here and everything. And I might see if I can now at this stage clean up some of these lines. No, I can't. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. We'll spend a lot of time trying to clean that, and it's not necessary anyway. When we go into Revit, we'll create these walls again, these floors again. So unlike the walls we needed to pay a bit of attention to because we're actually going to use them in Revit. The floors, however, we will reconstruct in Revit anyway, so I really don't want you spending too much heartache on these floors. Just get something done which is fairly indicative, and we'll redo the floors when we actually get into Revit. Okay, so that's basically the situation that we've got with the floors. They're all done then. I'll just turn some of these layers back on. Now the topography, I'll just turn some of these back on, these layers that were created. Some of these layers were created automatically for us when we imported the survey drawing into SketchUp. Yeah, so you'll need to you'll actually need to get instruction on how to import that site actually in class is how we'd have to do that, because we've got the CAD file to give you on the college server. But I gave you a brief explanation of it a little bit before. So that's probably the floors as the main part of it, and then make sure that you do tidy up all of these external walls into shapes like that. So some of these shapes up here I ended up creating by simply drawing around on blue axis, so shift keyed on blue axis, but orbiting around, get on blue axis like that, and then intersect with that face. So shift constrain on blue axis, intersect with the underside of the roof. Do the same, oops, I've lost it now. Do the same from the other view. Do the same from the other direction, over here say. Come from there, up on blue axis until it intersects with the roof. Join those two lines up there and you'll see you will have created that face. And then if you erase the line joining the two faces, you'll get one sort of wall surface there like that. Have to close off that surface there also. You want to make your glass curtain walls go right up to the underneath the roof, or put another panel in underneath them, one way or the other. But that's probably where we'll sit with that just for the moment. So I'll just let you catch up to that point, and then I'll show you the last little bit, which is just in that little bit of pretty tidying up in terms of presentation point of view.